Um, what's up, chat? Hello, everybody. Welcome in. Welcome in. Hope everybody's staying warm on this cold snap of a week. Tonight we are going to go over our oldest fighting footage. Slav, John, myself, and I have some footage from Tiny Nick, as well as we have some footage of
Yes.
Miguel. Right? That's what we have in store.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, and we can go delving around online as well. If y'all run into some other old footage, like OG Sven fighting some Dagger or something, let me know. I'm happy to watch any and all of that, like super old stuff. That's the goal. We're finding some vintage fighting. Hopefully, with the goal of showing that we all came from not knowing anything and doing our best till where we all are respectively now in our fighting game. It is very
Everyone
much a
was a baby
marathon and not a
once.
sprint.
Maybe slightly better now, the idea.
Yeah, hopefully a little bit better now. So I'm
The
excited to
same, but
share some of the footage that
faster.
I found. I found some footage that has never been released into the
Ooh.
internet, so we'll get to watch some of that tonight.
Yeah, Boomy
Mhm.
refusing to show it to us early, even.
Some of it you've probably seen, but some of it you may or may not have. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the camera share on Discord, just so y'all can see what I'm looking at.
Yeah, gimme.
Yeah, Discord.
That way you can have it in live in real time. If you want to just
Perfect.
mute it and drop it in the second browser, it's appreciated.
Oh
But not
god,
necessary.
I'm first.
So we're going to start with this. Slav, could you tell us about this particular first video here?
So this would be 2016. What was it, John? We were doing the math. I would have started Rapier in 2015. Yeah, 2015, where I did USFA fencing from 8 to 12-ish, and then did Shin Kendo, then boxing, and then didn't actually do rapier fencing up until the year before this video. This is about
Okay.
215, so probably almost a year exactly, maybe ish.
I didn't know you did all of
So
that for your background. That's cool.
yeah, that's one of the
Cool.
times I broke my nose was boxing, because that's what you do in
Oh,
boxing. You break your
that
nose.
makes sense.
Um, Everyone has to do it once when you're boxing.
Yeah, I remember
Um,
doing that while boxing as well. It
let's see.
sucks.
It's a rite of passage, right?
It is just, yeah, it's just part of the sport. It's built in. You just get your nose broken,
Um,
or break someone else's
but
nose,
yeah,
or both.
or that, yeah. Let's see, but yeah, this would have been year-ish in,
Okay.
something around there. And then this was at Southdowns practice. The other one is fighting Zamone. So this
Oh,
is
And South Downs
who's
is Atlanta.
Southdowns is Atlanta. Yeah, it's the Atlanta
boxing and lakes
group.
indeed. All right, let's
And
watch.
then yeah,
And you were 25 in this, is what you said?
I would have been 25. So this is 8 years ago. How long ago is 20?
Rocking
Something like that.
the
Yeah.
the
2016 would
Paultons.
have been 8 years ago,
Yeah.
right? No.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't know why. For some reason I'm single sword, and all the videos of me old ones are single sword. I have no idea why. Um,
Were you in a phase of like
it
single sword perfection?
It wasn't a
it
phase, Mom.
wasn't a phase. It might have been. I was starting to work with Wistrick. I wasn't his student yet, but I was starting to do some stuff, and this might be one of the times because he would occasionally take things away from me.
Mm-hmm.
So this might have been
Oh, give me that
this might
dagger.
have been him taking a dagger away.
That's funny.
So I would learn blade mechanics.
So were you trying to do one of the Italian styles here? It looks like.
Nice
This,
shot.
yeah, at this point would have been doing this. This point would have been Gigante.
Okay.
Would
That's what
be
it looks
like
like,
that.
yeah.
That is like my starting
Yeah.
fundamentals, which is like
The back the
that
back
really
lean.
back-weighted.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. You can
that
also
really
see a little bit of. I
back-weighted.
mean, I know Wistrix fights the same style, but you can definitely see some Wistrix influence at this point, I think.
Oh yeah. This is like where it's basically it's this weird hodgepodge. I don't think I can find any footage of my dad. I don't think there's any of him. There's like a hodgepodge of like some of my dad's mannerisms and then some Wistrick man. God, and I always just sat there like that. I got
You
the
did
shot.
that for. I feel like you did that kind of stuff for a while, and
Yeah. I still do it sometimes, but now
you
it's
do.
actually like on purpose. And I can like re-lunge out of it.
Yeah.
Okay, Slav, I have a question.
He,
For you, what is something that you think you've kept from when you were fighting at this practice? What is something that you still retain with you that you use to this day, if anything?
Trying to see. Yeah, I'm looking. I'm watching for some of it because at this point at this point specifically, I don't know if it's retained, but it's kind of like a lot of this early bit was trying to work on not just be tall. So I guess that would be something to retain, yeah, because that was the big one. Is that because I mean when you're early and you're just tall and lanky, you can get away with a lot of bullshit that other people can't get away with, right?
Absolutely.
So there's a big thing of like, okay, I can't just do the ignore their blade entirely and just reach and hit them first or around at an angle kind of shit, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I think that was specifically something that was working through, because I definitely don't fight in the same like stance or form at this point. But I think it's also a big one was that I think starting with the Gigante definitely got a good fundamental of like getting some real lunge power, you know? Because you're so bad, because it's so basically that back weight, and you're really working on those like just not even like long but very fast aggressive lunges, right? Because a lot of it's effectively just gain somewhere and then lunge, right? And it's like lunge. So I think that's also something where
I feel
kinda
like
like that.
there are some parts of your like in this set you've been working on your feet placement, and some of that is still in a good portion of how you move today in terms of your static foot placement.
Yeah, there's bits of it especially where, especially lately, I've been falling, not back to, I've been like specifically going, all right, I need to relearn fundamentals, and so there's been a lot more of that. Basically, a combination of that like Gigante trying to get the feet right, and then that back weighting, but then doing the more dagger forward combination and being not quite as square kind of thing. But yeah, that's definitely something I think or especially right now is getting feet correct too.
Yeah, how
I
much you turn out
destroyed
that
those
back
shoes
stance.
I'm wearing from this concrete, because that was another one actually was actually not sliding my feet all the time.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if that's anyone else had that early on.
No, I used to have
The
like the
drag.
corner of my
Oh
left
yeah,
shoe would just be gone.
yes.
Like
I
around like
replaced the
two or three shoes like that I wear back.
yeah. I replaced the bottom of these shoes like 3 times because it just ground out that one. It was specifically the back of my right foot, because then it would slide on the heel.
Oh, I got it from like the left toe, like dragging as I lunged and pushing off and dragging the toe back toe.
That makes sense.
Still do a little bit actually, but
You still drag your back toe for sure.
yeah.
Like when you're like,
I also
really
I don't
walking.
fight. I don't fence on a concrete surface as much, so my shoes last longer now.
Yeah.
Oh, I look like I'm about to. Yep, there's just some tall people's stupid stuff.
The flip side is what is something that you think is the most cringe about that set for you?
There's definitely a lot of that just hanging out in the air. I think the other video that I posted is like even more so. There's another one I have that I sent over,
Pull it up
where
and
there's
see.
a lot of just like really dumb floppy lunges, basically, you know, where it's like just flopping out there, way too big, no
Yeah.
actual, not gaining anything. You're just kind of going, you know.
For those joining us, welcome in. We are watching some of our oldest footage. Slav, John, myself, as well as some friends that have footage. We are now going to the oldest recorded fencing for me that I am aware of.
What year was this movie?
I don't know. It's the first year of fighting. So
Okay.
this is within my first year of fighting. Well within, like probably the first 6 months or 3 months of fighting.
And what you don't know, like a rough estimate of the year of that?
12 years ago, roughly. So we're
Okay.
at 25.
So yeah, 2014, 2013?
Yeah, so 13, 12 probably, realistically.
13 to 12. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, here you go. All right. Also, this camera is somebody's phone, which is terrible. It's like a terrible.
Which is what is this is
It's Tarasu and myself. Tarasu and
I
Red.
remember doing I remember myself doing stuff like that of just kind of like running around wild like
Just
And it-
doing my
and-
best.
Had you-
spinning.
What other like background did you have at this point from before fencing?
Boxing and BJJ.
Okay.
I've done a little bit of boxing, a little bit of kickboxing,
Mhm.
and then mostly just Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for any sort of like combat
like-
sport.
I feel like there's a lot of boxing stuff that actually that actually some of that, not necessarily all of it translates, but can definitely help with some of the fencing.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of the like a lot of the power gen off your feet and a lot of then other what is it? Yeah, like Sable Spirit in the chat said I see that lean from the boxing
Yep.
on mine.
Yep. Yeah, I did a lot more leaning early on. Really relied on it to pair
There's
with
there's the tall person retreat backwards and just when in doubt stick it out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's still a little bit of a. You can still see like the hoppiness that you still have a tiny bit of left.
Yep.
It's controlled now.
Yeah.
Definitely
It's done with
controlled.
intent
It's-
instead of just going.
It's smoothed out, but
Yeah, this is one forever ago.
yeah.
I'm just out of college.
So the same. So Boomy, the same questions you asked Slav. What are some things that you think you were doing here that are still around, and what is the most cringy part of this for you?
The thing that I think I did have always just had an instinct for is keep measure, put blade in way.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's
Yeah,
Oh yeah, you're
and that
very
has
much
yielded a
doing
lot
that.
of success when it was purely taking advantage of like length discrepancy.
Yeah.
And there's a
No, I
good
think
chunk of my
tall,
middle fight.
angulate.
I think in these videos you can tell that you have a really good, like you still have like kind of an instinct for where the sword is, and you're trying to like block it out
Mhm.
as you get away.
Ooh, wait, go back like 20 seconds.
Here,
Yeah, there's a classic because I did the same thing.
the hopping thing.
That it's well, no, it's the shot that you do as he comes in.
Oh yeah,
There,
the jump
Oh,
back,
yeah.
stick
the
arm out.
stick arm out and just throw stomach and legs backwards.
The kind of dropping over the the
Mhm.
guard too.
Just what?
For me, the cringiest part would be I have zero concept of how to defend myself with my blade.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
none
yeah.
whatsoever. That's a full demonstration of doing my best to attack somebody and then hopping away,
Just kind of chasing the sword around.
which
a little
honestly yielded very good results for a very long time. So I
Yeah, it's
didn't,
one of those where stuff like that can do too well for too long at times, especially when
Yeah,
you're really
yeah.
tall.
I could have been a much better fighter had I taken some regression in output in order to learn those things.
bit. Yeah, that makes sense.
Hello.
So that was why. I mean, that was the stuff where
Cheers.
Wistrick in the first few years would do things like, okay, I'm taking away
Thank you for the
this,
follow.
or the like, okay, you're using a 32 for this week every few weeks. So I've actually learned blade mechanics and not just be like, but I'm tall, I can just go over their sword.
That really, I mean, just being long yields you some results in this game.
In chat,
Despite
the
what
cringiest isn't the footwork.
Kind of agree with chat a little bit actually.
the cringy footwork, it is very cringe. But we had to pick one thing, right? All of it was bad,
Oh,
for
yeah.
sure.
If I was picking Furboomy, I would pick his old footwork from that video.
Aw. No, just keep going backwards in a circle. Works every time.
All right,
It's not the
John.
backwards in the circle. It's the fucking like feet all over the fucking place.
Just whoop, whoop.
This
What?
one, all right, chat. This one is from John. It says NCR Queens Champion 2009.
Yeah. So this is a collection of fights. So
Okay.
this one here is a youth fight between my brother Miguel, who's a mod too. He's in the purple, and this is one of the youth fights he did. And he would have been 14 at this time, and he would have been fencing for about 2-ish years at this point.
14.
Oh my God.
What a baby.
Yeah. And you can see me in the background. I'm there in the background in the red, and I would have been 16 at this point.
Also baby.
The classic John and Miguel colors. You have to be
Mhm.
color coded.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this was up
Same.
in this event was up in Oklahoma, which was good. We actually flew to this event because I live in Austin, and so this was it's a good like 7-8 hour drive. So we ended up actually flying out here for this event.
I feel like Miguel does the same stuff. He kind of
It's like
moves
it's
similar.
like
Yeah.
the little bit I watched, it's weird seeing Miguel. There's bits that are the same, but like slower, which is really weird to see.
Right. Very much like hesitant in the shots. Not nearly as confident.
Another kid so dramatic. Did he actually just off that kid? Actually,
Or maybe, I don't know. We don't know how much force went to that one. 14-year-old Miguel being a bully on the field.
I think you're using epes too in this fight.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
it's so low quality. I can't tell if they're epes or if they're the musketeer blades. Maybe.
I remember that guard from that time, and that was definitely an epee. Like I remember
Okay.
the epee we had back then.
Look, Miguel switched his feet for lefty.
Wow.
So fancy.
Honestly, this doesn't look too bad.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, especially it's that already been doing it for a while.
2 years
right?
Yeah.
and 14 years old. That's pretty
And then-
impressive, honestly.
Yeah.
Well,
And then-
we've talked about this many times. Miguel is one of the most talented fencers I've ever met. Like just pure talent-wise, I had a real knack for it. So
And then how often were y'all practicing? Like a week or so, like every week at this point.
we were
kind of
definitely
thing?
at least once a week, and a lot of times sometimes some other times, if depending on. So like once to twice a week at this point, even
Let's go around
Um,
Miguel.
plus some drills.
Let's do
Yeah.
some jump.
And then-
The first
like-
video of me is at 12 minutes, I think. This starts at 12
All
minutes.
right.
No, 14 minutes. Sorry.
Yeah, I just wanted to watch this. Some OG.
So this is the
John.
first. So I'm 16 at this point. This is the first time I ever fought on the adult field. Because I was a youth fighter, and at 16 at the time, you had to be 16 to fight with the adults. So this is my
Baby.
first.
I mean, is
ever,
it
like-
just me? Is it just me, or does John kind of look the same? Like, it's much more similar than yours or mine. I think.
I.
Well, I was also a little farther in because I'd also been fencing for 2 years at this point, also. So
Right.
Mm-hmm.
maybe a little farther in than the footage of you and Boomy.
Mine
what
was
would it
like
be?
3
Just-
months in. Or
Yeah.
whatever.
That's much earlier
Yeah,
on in the
significantly earlier.
progression.
I mean, what's different? Say it, because what would be? I mean, same thing, John. Like, what is the? Like, what is the? There's the foot shot.
Yeah.
What is the? What is the? What is the cringy stuff? What is the like? Okay, this is actually
So
a
like
good retent. You know.
the basic stance and guard is not that different, right? Like dagger hand, sword hand, footwork, everything's not dissimilar from what I do now. Really, the building blocks were there.
Mm-hmm.
I think the cringy thing is just like I'm super stiff and hesitant.
Yeah. You're also your dagger work is very like
Yeah,
it's big
I-
and not yet refined.
I agree
Looks
with
like
that
mine
too. Yeah.
But you're also 16, and this is
Yeah,
2
it's
years
certainly not what it is, or even what it would be even like a couple of years after this.
It is weird to see like both you and Miguel. One of the things that Slav pointed out is your level of like speed and confidence.
Yeah,
Like it's not just raw speed; it's like the assurity of action.
yeah. No, it's possible that like physical hand speed was similar at this point, or potentially even faster.
Yeah,
but
yeah, exactly.
there wasn't the confidence to throw there is now.
Exactly. That's exactly what I think.
Because you had like that right there. Like, go back a little bit.
Mhm.
Like 5 seconds.
That-
Or so, yeah.
Because he does a lunge. I think it's because like even that lunge and then the next one when they start to turn. I think it's like here.
This is there's glimpses of modern John.
Because you do a lunge in a second. That you can see, that it's like a bit,
Yeah.
because like that,
Yeah.
like it's like, it's like the less into it, like you're going like, okay, that's sort of like not as committed, but it's very much the similar, like that even right there.
Mhm. Yeah, both of those are
But then the dagger
the John lunge.
going high.
Do you win this one?
I do. It's a 2 out of 3. I think I win. I can't remember if I went 2-0 or 2-1.
Go, John, go.
So this is a Queens, right? Was it a
Yeah,
single
so
and double?
there, I just found this on an old hard drive and I just uploaded the whole video because there's a couple other fights from other people too.
Do we have any
So
other babies that we don't?
your first one, your first adult tournament you did was the biggest Ansteuron tournament, basically.
Correct. Yeah, and I actually got actually got top 6 at this tournament.
Oh my god.
How many humans participated in this one? Do you know? Or do you remember?
41, I think.
Oh my god.
It's weird that I remember that, but it was like it was just quoted, and it was one of my first tournaments. So I remember it was 41 people, which is small for non-steering queens actually, but it was very far north. This is almost as north as you could go in the kingdom. So,
Flew your ass out there to fight.
John, you and Miguel sometimes watching at this point makes me be like, boy, I could have been way better if I had continued fencing and not had the gap in the middle.
there's a fight between me and Miguel. You have up on the
Yeah, I'll pull it up.
Yeah. Because Miguel was using a buckler in the other one.
Oh yeah, Miguel. At that period, Miguel loved buckler.
Is that a really long
I didn't
dagger,
know
or
Miguel
is
had
Miguel
a buckler phase.
Yeah,
Why are you
Miguel
shaking
had
your
a
hands with-
It's funny. I also had a buckler phase, and it was also like a diamond shape, like Miguel's, but just
Oh, yeah.
rounded diamond.
Yeah, those are the piece of plywood with a door pull
Classic.
screwed to it.
Sales for yes, same. I think everyone has a buckler phase.
So this was I was a graduated youth, right? So I was a minor, but I was fighting the middle field. But this was an exhibition fight that's part of the youth tournament for Miguel, because there was only 2 youth fighters at that tournament. So they a lot of times will just do exhibition fights with adults.
Miguel's sword placement is so much different now, but he's still like not actually doing some of the disengages in a few of those like he does still.
Oh, goofy foot forward. Yeah, that's bad. I hate that.
Ooh.
He's trying something. Cooking. Let him cook.
My favorite thing so far was still you throwing the same foot shot
It
earlier.
is weird that
you
he's
still
shorter
do.
than you.
Yeah, actually.
Oh
yeah.
yeah,
Oh my god,
that
he
is-
is.
Yeah. At 14 to 16, that's a huge difference in like growth.
Oh my
Like,
god.
Yeah.
you see a noticeable like inch or 2 difference.
It's like the beginning of puberty and the kind of like in the middle of it.
Yeah.
So this is when you stopped growing, right?
Yeah. I'm probably not. I'm probably in that video close to my current height. Yeah, I am now.
Oh yeah, Sable, yeah.
First-
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Versus Miguel would have, like, obviously he grew a ton since then.
I agree with you,
Because I
Chad.
say yeah, is that from chat? So from Sable, so fluid. I'd say yeah, I would agree. Yeah, or Miguel is still smooth, but it's like slower smooth for some of them.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
All right.
No, he's kind of a prodigy. It's annoying.
You say that a
He's
lot.
angering. Yeah, John's very jealous.
All right, Slav.
Yeah.
True statement, not sarcastic.
In the long run, I've had more success in the long run. So you know.
Let's see here. What are we going to find? Aha. All right. This is a Slav versus...
So this is actually, I think this might wait. I think the other one was 117. This is from the same week, I think actually, because the other one was 117. So this is on the right. It was the guy who was trying to do Spanish. If you can't tell, he was trying to do Spanish, and he's left-handed.
Okay.
God, that
Okay.
exchange was. I hate it.
Like a Tebow or a...
Well, it was just we both just did that, both go low and just hit each other in the stomach, completely ignoring the other person's sword. I think one thing I immediately noticed that I definitely did, and you see newer people do, is if someone goes, because that's the whole thing of like, okay, you're taught like, all right, keep your sword on top of your opponents, right? And you get into that like swords going slowly higher fight, right?
Mm-hmm.
Until you're both just head height or so almost.
Yeah, looking at your sword placement, you were a lot more willing here to let your weak touch their strong.
Mm-hmm.
And you were trying to like move your guard into the strength as you attacked.
Mm-hmm.
I think I absolutely did what you just did, which is on the riposte or the attack forward, put too much weight on my front foot and bring my back foot up off the ground.
Oh my god,
That's
yeah,
like
that was a whole thing.
That's like I think like that's like a novice movement. Like everybody or a lot of people, not everybody for sure, but a lot of people have that as a movement that starts off that way, then has to be corrected over time. You'd stay more centered.
Because then you get it where then you're just kind of stuck there.
Mm-hmm. I feel like that's ingrained through other actions. Like when you go bowling, it's okay to bring that back foot up off the ground. In fact, it's sometimes encouraged. And you hop on that front foot a bit.
Yeah.
I did bowl a lot too, which is that's an interesting comparison.
Yeah. I just think about it as like sometimes it's okay depending on the context.
Go back to that exchange real quick.
Yeah.
Because this is like, I think this is one of those classic, just like newbie both, especially against the lefty. You see that where it's just okay, both go around, bonk,
Yeah.
and just double.
You both follow the circle.
No one even touching swords.
Yeah. Two dead humans.
That whole thing right there was the stuff I did a lot. That was a problem. Of that, just sort of like after half lunge and just kind of lean kind of thing, where it's just kind of like flopping back and forth a little bit, or not flopping, but just like that lean back and forth, being
the boxer leaning,
taking advantage of being tall, right? Which I think now actually I still kind of there's that stand and stance. I still kind of do that a little bit of have that like, but now it's on purpose and controlled.
It also drops to a side a lot more instead of a straight back lean. Your modern lean. Like you tend to pick with a cant to your left or a cant to your right as opposed to straight back. At least in our
that's a good point.
our passes and watching your more recent footage.
I think because especially right now is that at this point all the fencing before this was USFA, so it's literally your lane fencing, right?
Yep. Yeah.
So they're really the only like left or right that you're really doing is just like slight, like sort of like angling your arms around, because you're not really going to be like doing a big like jump, like you're not going to be doing like an incortada, a huge one or something like that in USFA. Or if you do, it's going to be basically keeping your body forward and spinning, but not having it go far to the side. Again, that's just like reach under, be tall, double. Not even covering blade. Why would you do them? Yeah.
Do you know who the opponent was? Do you remember?
It was his name was Giovanni.
Giovanni.
Yeah, I think it was Giovanni. He doesn't, because he stopped fencing like 2 or 3 years after this, maybe something like that. He also tried to do cuts a lot because he was doing Spanish. He would have been great up in East for those tip cuts.
Yeah. I noticed that
because he's going because he's going for like draw cuts a lot, but it's like doesn't quite work the same.
Yeah, I've noticed he's like going for like they look like tip cuts that he's trying to hit, but.
There's so much just ignore the other person's sword entirely, and it upsets me.
That's like most people when they're like
that's very normal,
like a lot of stages, right?
For what it is worth, I think a lot of people kind of get stuck there. Like that's a plateau that I feel like a lot of people hit, where you get pretty good success, just never having blade contact, and so you kind of don't bother to learn the mechanics of a blade.
Especially it's like either if you're really tall, or you're like naturally fast, or work on being just fast, right? And you can kind of get away a lot of it with that. If I just go really quick and I can hit them before they can do something, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
There's the really bad all weight forward right there, Bowie.
Yeah, the hop.
No, I was gonna say earlier when y'all were talking about like the tall person, like I'm just gonna be taller than you. I feel like I had the I'm just faster than you equivalent, where like didn't always need to worry about what their sword was doing because you could just hit them before they could move.
Yeah, same idea.
If you go quick enough and hit them, and then just kind of move out of the way in the tempo before they can do anything, or they're just going, kind of stuff, and not worry about them hitting you back.
I still do some of that, but it's with more coverage of the sword.
Now it's gaining the blade or covering in some capacity.
Oh, this is tiny, Nick.
I don't know.
Wait, which is which? I assume he's on the right?
Yeah, that's Brad on the left.
This is footage that Randy sent to me on Nick's behalf.
that beginning of that was a great example of that knob of like the newer person. I'm just gonna go fast forward, and someone who knows how to just like that right there.
Mm-hmm.
Do we know what year this is from?
No idea.
Oh god,
we don't really
he
have a
would
lot
Is
of
Nick
context.
live right now?
been.
What?
I can pop in his chat and ask.
He was on
would
his
have
server a
been-
second ago, but he's not on anymore. Yeah,
He
get
would
him
have
on
been 2017 or 18, maybe. Because he did a little bit before he did SCA. Like he did maybe a year-ish before he started doing SCA stuff. Here, let me look him up. Let me look him up on OP and see when his first award was,
here.
and then we'll just subtract a year when he got his AOA for fencing.
Yeah, Sable, that back lean, his starting back lean is pretty extreme, especially from that angle they were watching.
Oliver and Stance.
So he got Argent Rapier in
Oh, I really watched this stuff,
2016.
yeah.
So yeah, he would have started 2015-ish.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You can see some of it is where there's a little bit of the similar like start to take the stance kind of thing. I think they're doing cuts. They have to be.
Mhm.
They must be.
There's almost it's hard to say. There's almost like because Nick does like a thing with his sword sometimes. There, like there's a almost there. The next one. I think it's out. Yeah. God, there's some
Nice.
big cuts.
Ensure that kill. Yeah, this is all stuff that. So thank you, Randy, for sending this over. Oh,
It's
that's
funny
a
seeing
gym
some of the
video.
same
Okay.
mannerisms almost.
It's the last one. A different gym.
Oh, this is with the basketball gym.
Yeah, one from.
You can really see some of those the early on like the taking those just big huge just like push away the whole sword parries
Yeah.
and you just kind
Yeah.
of both end up in outer space like your sword's just out nowhere.
Hoping for the best. Nice. All right. Here's a treat for y'all.
Another baby boomy.
Yeah. Here you go.
Oh, yeah, we got the heavy ones.
This is, I think, the first time I actually fought armored. Like, actually, like, tried to hit
Galford.
somebody.
Yeah.
It was a household practice. And Golfer just beat the shit out of me. Like, to where I was, like,
Something very
scared of his leg
different.
wrap.
There's something very different. I think it's just with heavy because when you start heavy, it's because you have so much more armor. Everyone has just the full hodgepodge
Yeah,
kit
yeah,
for
just the
the
grossest
beginning of
looking
loner
kit.
of just random loner gear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I hated getting hit in the leg.
I see that first one.
Because he
I
just
feel like
lit me up
everyone
over
has
and
that
over.
phase, right? Where you just get hit in the leg a lot.
Yeah, just
There is from like the amount of heavy I've done. There's again that like with when you're taller, you have significantly more leg to hit.
Yeah.
That's true.
And then the really unfortunate part was when I was doing because I did it for like 2 years. Was the fun part of where people have those just like the natural, just ingrained that like either wrap or J hook that would normally hit just above the knee,
Mhm.
right?
Oh yeah.
But then when you're taller, that hits you on the knee or at the like right under the knee.
Oh god, that
Was,
also is ugly. Ugh. Gross.
Oof.
Is this more cringy than the rapier? Watching the rapier?
I mean, it's cringier in the fact that the kit is way worse. That's like the worst of it.
So yeah, it visually
Yeah,
looks...
visually, it's cringier. Movement-wise, I don't think it's actually worse. I think I'm actually probably a better armored
You're a
fighter
better
off the bat.
fighter all around
Mhm.
at this point.
Exactly,
right?
yeah.
Because at this point you have enough ingrained. I mean, measure,
Yeah.
like measure,
Well,
tempo.
Yeah. It's like this is what like 7 years into rapier. So it's already.
There's the over the shoulder.
Yeah, I only knew
Well-
to put my sword there. I didn't conceptualize other.
Still bouncing around.
Rest attempt.
Mm-hmm.
Oof.
Yeah, he just he just beat me up. It was very fun to do it. I'm glad this footage just exists,
Yeah, that's cool.
so you can kind of see like.
So many of his shots are just like brutal raps to
Mhm.
various or back cuts to various things.
And Gulford has as long as I've known him, very fast hands, and he knows how to
Yeah,
throw a
he's
lot of
quick.
heat on his shots. So he doesn't mind putting some power into those, and knows how to do so, and kind of has to do that in terms of like size
Yeah, he's
comparison to other people.
a pretty small guy.
Not a lot of weight, so you got to throw a lot of body behind those shots.
I think one thing with heavy is that at least during the beginning, the height advantage is not really there,
No.
at all, right? Because you don't know what to do with it,
Correct.
and it's not as easy as just, okay, if I stick my arm out fast enough,
Yeah.
I can get there.
Because the blow doesn't. It's not a touch blow. It's a gotta put power behind it.
Yeah.
Is
So
this?
this,
Yeah. What's
for
the
context for this one, this was the first time I ever fought heavy, and I was fighting. This was 2016. I was getting authorized to fight at Gulf Force because I was the Queen's champion, and the Queen was going to shoot combat archery.
Oh, okay.
I
So
wanted to
this
get
is like.
fight. So this was well before I really took heavy fighting seriously. I just fought enough to get authorized. But this is literally the first time I ever put armor on.
That's cool.
Oh,
I know. We're running somebody else through. It was a good shot. You figured out you could still fence.
Yeah.
Very early on.
Still works.
it's funny at this point. Your actual stance is not extremely dissimilar from just your fencing stance,
Yeah.
but just
But
pull it back.
Yeah. Well, I was also fighting right. I think I was fighting right foot forward in this video.
Who's
I didn't fight
who's
left foot
helmet?
forward. I think it belonged to Kelly, Master Kelly. He had it. It's like it had a switchable faceplate for both rapier
That's
and
cool.
heavy. And he loaned it.
Yeah,
to
you
me.
look way better. You look way better than Boomy did.
Oh yeah.
This was all Gwyneth. This was all Gwyneth's armor plus Kelly's helm.
Oh, okay.
So
Do you
it was all borrowed, but it was all borrowed mostly from one set.
do you have your first tournament for heavy also somewhere, John? Maybe.
Yeah, I do actually. Hold on.
I think that could be interesting.
So the first tournament fight I ever fought was a. Well, let me find it.
This is no related with nothing but React. Completely unrelated video just got posted.
The question is that? Yeah, I was like, is that a Rickroll? Because that's what it's. That's.
It is a animated horse thing.
Is it showable on stream? Because I'll show it on stream as long as it's.
I watched the beginning, or I watched it for about 2 seconds to make sure it wasn't something.
Yeah, as long as we're not breaking TOS, I don't really care.
It's 9 minutes long.
I'm not watching that.
It's just it's being a horse. I have no idea what this is.
What is happening in this video?
Exactly. That's what I was like. I don't know what the fuck's
I
going
have
on.
no sound on it either.
How long would you have been fencing, or not fencing, but fighting heavy before you did your first tournament, John? Do you think for your first heavy tournament?
So it kind of depends on how you classify it. So got authorized and did a couple practices in
Well, like
2016.
fighting.
Well, it's still hard to see how to classify
Oh my
because
god, John.
I did telling all of 2020, but didn't really spar much because it was the pandemic. Started going to practice sparring regularly in 2021 and went to probably in the spring, and then the tournament was in the summer. So a couple, 3 or 4 months of actively sparring pretty regularly to then first tournament. But like a year of doing drills in the.
I have one of those. If you can find that. We
Let's
watched your
see.
first rapier tournament anyway.
Chat. This is something that John and I did during the pandemic. I have a little bit of footage of it. We would pell together.
Oh, I've heard of this.
and we would do
Sure.
Sven's. What was it seven drill? Is that what we called it?
It's like the 1 through 6, but you do it as a 7 cycle of
Yeah.
7 times, and you end up throwing 1,000 blows with each hand.
Yeah, I have it
So
labeled as
you're in-
7th cycle. This is the 7th one. So the idea was that you hit onside head is 1, onside body is 2, onside leg is 3, offside 4, 5, 6, going from head to leg.
I think we did 1 as the bottom, and then it goes up. But
Do we?
it depends on how you count it.
What was
But
this?
yeah.
This was where you and Boomy would just not be on the phone, but just like do
We'd
We'd
video
be
hell
on
at the same
Discord.
time on
We'd be on a
Discord.
Discord call, and we would just pell together.
Was the
That's
onside
a
leg
lot,
the 1?
actually.
It looks like it was.
I think onside leg is 1,
Yeah, yeah,
and
going
onside
up
head
and
is
then
3,
over,
and
yeah.
it goes up.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
up to down. But people different classify different ways. I think that's how we were doing it, though.
Yeah, I guess it doesn't really matter as long as you hit all the targets.
I like that. I like that has the not hook, but I guess hook to the ceiling.
Yeah, I attached it with a bungee cord, so I didn't have to keep picking it up.
Yeah, I like that.
I finally, the one in the battle barn is now just a very chunky bottom. It's the same base that I have in this video. Oh yeah, we did it with both hands. This was
Let's see,
awful.
yeah, lefty.
It was
I
really,
see, you are making a face that this is not a
it's
fun
really,
time.
it's really awful.
Well, this is
It's really
my
awful.
the last round,
Yeah.
and I was trying to film myself with like how bad does my form deteriorate by the time I'm exhausted throwing
Yeah.
shots.
Yeah, you can really tell you're just like, ugh,
Yeah, gutting
for
it
some
out.
of it.
No, that's it.
Yeah, it sucked.
Yeah, but it makes you
I don't
better.
do this anymore.
I threw
Yeah.
enough shots that all of these things feel comfortable. God, those offsides are
Still-
awful. They're all like elbow wrist. 'Cause I was
Yeah.
not throwing on a body, which I should have. Should have been more body rotation for those offsides. Getting tired. I don't want to do this, Sven. Don't make me.
Too damn
Funny.
bad, right? I'm tired of this grandpa kind of.
Yeah.
Too damn bad.
Yeah.
Some of this is actually pretty similar to there's a for actual steel sword pelled stuff like drills that are pretty close to that effectively. Just minus the like
I did. I threw a tournament fight up in the chat if you wanna.
Yeah. Pull it up.
In the Discord chat. This would have been my first tournament fight with the Sword and Shield, because my first actual tournament fight was with a fucking Dane axe, so
oh my god.
which I never practiced with, but it was that tournament. That crown was. I
This is
think
the-
I'm somewhere in.
Is this
I'm somewhere in the mess of these people. Yeah.
Is this a tournament?
Yeah. They're doing it was like a speed tournament, so they had everyone fighting at the same
Oh.
time. I'm there. They should focus on me here in a second.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
there you go.
they're behind the guy probably getting wrapped in the back.
The one getting just about to get smashed.
Yep.
I
Being
might block that.
enveloped.
It's hard to tell.
Your sword's there.
Yeah.
Your
But my
shield's
shield's
there.
also
Yeah, your shield's
out,
high.
yeah, so, yeah.
Your sword's kind of there.
Well,
I'm not convinced you were killed.
since there's another 14 seconds of this video, I'm assuming it wasn't good.
Oh,
No, it looks like it
you
was good.
acknowledged it.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
so,
Okay, I
your
picked
shield's
wrong.
so
Hold on,
tiny.
let me grab another.
Your shield is so little
I
compared to
remember
now.
that shield. You had it for a little while.
Oh,
I win a lot more with the bigger shield.
but it's one of the. Is that one of the ones that the one guy sells at Golf?
The bevel.
It's
on
a
the front.
Grey. It's from Grey Cat Armory.
Okay, yeah.
And they'll do shield. They do pretty good shields.
'Cause there's one place at Golf Wars that'll
Oh,
have like
here's
the
the
V
here's
style
the
like that.
actual first crown fight I ever did.
Oh, okay. Oh no.
Done. This is with the Danax. This is the first crown fight I ever fought.
Oh, because wasn't there like a weird format for the
Yeah.
weapons? I remember you complaining about this.
I didn't really bother putting a lot of practice into this weapon form because I figured it was better in the long run to just practice sword and shield stuff, because this was the only crown that was going to be fought with this way, and I wasn't going to win this crown anyway. So I was like, well,
Hey, look, it's
I'll just go out there and mess around,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then training up to it, I'm just going to work on sword and shield stuff. So
What an old helm.
Yeah.
It's a tiny Danax. 'Cause
They
it was
had to be
little.
5 feet.
Well, no, I
it's
meant
really
the
the
heads
head.
from those little.
Oh,
I
it was really a
agree.
halberd.
heads.
It was really a halberd head. That's all I had though.
Yeah, why is
So
the proportionally his head is kind of silly. Like proportionate to the
Because
rest of you.
Because I know that vendor, they have a bunch of those. They sell, they have bigger heads like than that, John, right?
Like I
You could've
feel like
got-
that's a Danax head size.
Someone loaned this to me. Is what I had.
Give you shit about your Danax head size.
The size of my Danax.
Oh no, the slow motion bonk. Look at John's face. You can see.
It's gritting my teeth there.
Yeah. That's like the Goomba. Like, oh god damn it! Fuck.
That's funny. Actually,
That's fun.
I'm watching. I need to watch the.
When the bonk happens.
Look at how rubbery that.
Mhm.
Fully bent.
They're
out
pretty
the way.
soft.
Yeah, you did the thing that we were talking about earlier in fencing, where you just didn't defend yourself and threw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least in
Just
that
go
first
fast,
game.
hope for the best.
Oh, what?
Oh, jeez.
That-
Hey, look at Joe.
Is that Joe almost getting
It is.
killed?
Joe coming
Don't,
to the
don't
edge
come
to stop
toward
you.
the Danaxes.
I don't know what. I don't know why she's doing that. That's kind of looks dumb.
Joe, if you're watching this in the future, if someone clips it for you, don't walk toward the weapons. Yeah,
Oh, that's what it is. Except that that's the door of the list field.
That's the
I
edge.
get it. I get like the
They're
protecting
trying
of
to
it,
stop you.
but it is a bad idea to be on the opposite side of someone swinging a pole.
And then also you start to pull it back at one point,
Yeah.
and I was thinking like, oh
Clock Joe
no.
Oh, he
unintentionally.
does hit. He hits my arm there.
Oh, okay.
That looks like barely good,
Does he
honestly.
end up in your leg too?
Nah, that's a
Yeah.
pretty solid arm blow. It's like most
Yeah.
the blade.
Yeah.
It's got good angle on it, so I'm sure you.
Ooh.
Can.
No, the leg is
Almost-
the leg. The leg is
Almost clips
yeah,
your leg.
Yeah.
Yeah, they back off because they're like, ah, shit, we don't want to get hit.
Oh no. All right, John. This is.
Oh, I think maybe they said it was during the hold. I think
Oh,
that's
I
what
see, I
happened.
see.
Oh, okay.
I think I remember this actually. Yeah.
I'll say then it's single arm Danax.
Yeah.
Now you just grab it by the head and start boxing. Ooh.
Yeah.
Does that get you?
Nah.
Or just
No,
slid
thought that
by?
was
that one slid by.
It was down
Now
the.
there's the arm.
Oh, hey, there's that
Ooh.
one-handed.
He took a swing.
Oh,
Ooh, yeah, right
that's
there.
I hate the swing. Doing the swing, the X arm when you have to
Mhm.
cross like that for your offside.
Mhm.
It's hard to. I mean, with an axe, it's much easier to generate power at the end, but it's generally hard to do.
Mechanically, that's an actual like for longsword and stuff,
Yeah,
for a lot of
definitely,
stuff that is like valid, but it's you can't really get the. Sometimes.
In SCA context, I have found that it is less good than in.
Well, yeah, because you can't. Yeah, like you said, you can't get it. You can't really get power gen out of it.
You know,
But yeah, but it's also not made for that.
do we have any other footage we want to check out tonight?
There's a couple other tournament fights from that same day from Sword and Shield stuff, but I don't know if it's all worth watching or not.
That was cool.
It's still early. It's still your early stuff, right?
Yeah, with that same little shield.
I say, do you have one? Do you have a one you think stands out? Maybe.
I have to look.
Gosh, John.
All right. Question for the both of you. If you could go back and tell your past self what is the best piece of advice you can give them? Like you get one line to tell them something to be better at.
Blade mechanics.
That's the sentence. Blade mechanics.
Blade mechanics. Don't care what else.
Okay.
Touch. Yes, yeah. Touch their sword.
Yeah. I think that early on for me, I really neglected footwork. And so I would say train footwork earlier
Footwork,
on.
best work.
Yeah, especially reverse footwork. Like did a lot of didn't do much footwork training in general, but I was also all going forward.
Mhm.
Wasn't until like I had a lot of success before someone ever told me like, hey, you should learn to go backwards.
Right.
And
There's
so
always
I
attacking in.
think that I work on footwork a lot earlier with like people. Like when I teach people now, I'm like, let's do footwork, like a lot of footwork early on. So
a lot of mine on my, at least for blade mechanic wise, is that it's the remembering the, oh, actually you do actually need to, control their blade before you do something, and not just kind of go yeah, you know. Um, and also even stuff of like, keep your tip pointed at them, even when you parry, that kind of thing as well. So it's not just those big sweepy parries,
Mm-hmm.
mhm.
Right.
and you end up
Keep
just
stay
smashed into
online.
each other.
I had a very good discussion with John and Ernesto when we were at Lord Baltimore's a couple years ago. Like why different parries? Like why would you parry such that your tip goes offline? And like the pros and cons. Because I hadn't considered it. Like before, I was like, you just always keep your blade such that your tip is always pointed toward them, so you're funneling them outside of your body, right? The shape you're creating a cone. But
I think if you
Mhm.
if there are so if you're doing either anything, so if there are cuts allowed, then there's a lot of stuff where the actual like the going tip going offline is either fine or is like valid, and like because it's then something of where it pushes them over and it leads into, then you can kind of do like a Molinar rollover for various things, right?
Right.
So like if you have that context, then there's a lot of time that makes sense. But then if you're in a only thrust oriented, then like in my opinion at least, there's like, I don't know if I can think of something that is like a you want to do it on purpose,
The
but I
argument
could
I was
Like
given
not thinking of something.
was like if you do essentially the parries that I prefer, which is tip, like if it's a high parry, tip is basically pointed at your forehead or at forehead height, your opponent's forehead,
Hmm.
and your guard is going left and right and it's covering your about hip height.
Right.
And the argument against it was you're giving weak because they can punch through the upper part of your blade straight towards your face, which is true. And I hadn't considered that. But I was also like, it never happens to me. But it's also partially because I don't really hang out in that parry state. The parry has the force of my movements going into that position behind it.
Hmm.
I thought that was an interesting
yeah.
differentiation.
Well,
Whereas
you're
some
yeah.
people
If you're
apparently hang out there more than they should and they get punished for it.
yeah. If you keep your blade usually out of presence, and then you go into the parry.
Mm-hmm.
So you basically are controlling the sword and usually attacking all in one kind of
Exactly.
motion,
Yeah.
right? And if you're going to do
So
that, then I don't disagree with the mechanics that you're recommending. But if you're going to do a more like, especially a two-tempo parry, like a parry and then a riposte, then the tip is better to come up more over their sword, which creates the ramp into the hand, which keeps the strong more in line.
Right. Exactly.
And,
Yeah.
and I'll do a lot of times where I'll do a big parry to like gain their sword and keep my tip just kind of straight in the air, and then I'll step in and then roll my point in as a second action. Basically, is a double move, as in single sword. But essentially,
yeah,
kind of
there,
ending up
yeah,
in the same place. It's just depending on the transition.
and even, God, yeah, and even I guess yeah, because even and yeah, because that and that, because I would almost even argue that that's sort of the mechanical setup, and then like the tip off line seems more or less like a, or at least it's, I'm trying to think how to verbalize this, is almost like a transitional part of it, and not as much as like the this is sitting here, if that makes sense. Because when I think of that in the terms of where it's like mention how you can get, if you do like a parry, and mentioning where then they can push through it, is like if you're doing it mechanically correctly set up, like because that comes up in Italian stuff, especially Fabris especially has it where as long as you have your parry basically set up at the right angle and
Mm-hmm.
point on, and your basically guard or wrist to the right or left at whatever direction, then if they do return, even if they go really hard, it's just mechanically where as long as you're not getting just physically shoved, back, then it would point them offline, if that makes sense,
Right.
like geometrically, right? As long as that sentence made sense.
Alfred.
Oh yeah. So one of our house practices. I think that's when I also fought Golford in armor for the first time.
Oh, it's just him being a pal.
He's just
That's
him being a
funny.
pal with everyone trying. Telford.
Doing the just hit me practice
He's just defending
type
himself.
vibe.
Everyone had fun as long as they weren't getting hit back.
Yeah, I've shown a couple people like heavy stuff, and they're like, "Oh, it's really fun hitting people, or like hitting a pal," and I'm like, "I just don't never want to get hit," and I'm like, "I don't like getting hit either."
Yeah. That's how you defend yourself.
The whole goal is to not.
Yeah.
This
Oh, is
Yeah,
this a
Jeffrey
Boomy tournament versus
2015.
Connor?
This is the very
Oh,
first time I killed Connor, and
oh.
he had been one of the staples in people I could just not kill for the life of me.
I
So
wonder
this is
if
probably
I
like
have
3 years in the fencing or something.
This is your old Cyclops mask, right?
Yep. Still not in great
Connor
garb.
has such a distinctive.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, everything about him.
Connor was one of the like across the known world for one of those guys for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it
So-
was he was a weird fight, but he was very good, and a lot of people like had their run-ins with him, kind of.
He was very focused on like people having fun as well. So he
Yeah,
ended up being a very memorable human.
yeah. Did a
What's
lot for me.
interesting about what's interesting about this was the stuff is like the hand forward like that, especially single, is that especially like when you go back to earlier SCA, is you kind of see that more, if that makes sense. Like that was more common, especially single.
Yeah, the
When I'm
goofy
think
foot
when I'm
kind of.
well, I was having that like the that like where he's like the hand forward and it's kind of like it's almost like that Black Tiger snake thing where they
Mm-hmm.
talk about that, you know?
Snake
But then
bite.
doing that with like single sword and the hand forward, because then it's just kind of like, okay, hit my hand,
Mm-hmm.
you know? Because my dad did that forever, even back in like, even back at like uh late Epee, beginning of like Schlager that I can remember. I remember a
I
bunch of other
don't.
Chat.
people
Here's the
doing it.
video with yeah. Thank you for pointing that out. This is the video with Connor. Or
I don't
watch it
think
through.
that what Connor is doing like actually is great, but he was good at it.
Here's the
If
whole
that
thing.
makes sense.
If you have a like if you have a what it would be a not distinctive like a sort of non-normal style. If you can do it really well and make it work, you know, then even if it's something, ooh,
Yeah, that was
What
maybe
happened
my
there?
first Gerada on record. Yeah, that's
Oh,
my
he
first Gerada
barely
on record.
misses you too.
yeah, that's the whole thing.
Yeah, I think I tag him
Get
in the
that
neck across
roll.
here. And you can see the
He just goes right
pass
by
there,
your
you know.
neck. Yeah.
Fully back to him at the end.
John, did you have that?
Oh, that's
Did
funny.
you or did you say you might have that one Rose fight that we had?
I do. Let me get that.
Chat.
Because
This was one of our backyard practice, and people just wanted to practice armored. This was the same one that was fighting golfer did in an earlier video that we watched tonight. But people just wanted to test out armored. It was fun watching different people just attack him for like funsies. Feel what it feels like to fight armored. Yeah. Yep. That's him. Black and green. Still same colors. But he was
see
being
if
an
you can find
excellent
that
pal.
one, John. That was my first. I think that was my first Rose tournament at Gulf Wars too.
Yeah. See
The
if I
first.
can. Now I posted that unlisted, but I don't remember if I posted that on my main YouTube channel or my personal one. No.
Yeah, this was the one I
God.
pulled up earlier about
So
this
many,
right here.
too many videos.
Oh, here it is.
Probably from Golford v. Golford. Maybe from WoW. I'd have to look at the most recent WoW footage. Yeah, this is the first time I fought him in this properly trash looking garb, but we all start somewhere, huh? Tide Pup says, started Rapier and Armored this April. Hardest thing for me is to riposte after parry. I tend to parry at the mezzo using wrist. If I miss, I'll grab on my forte using the arm. Keeping the tip pointing at them is really tricky to force myself to. Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's me in the white and full loner piece, cobbled together everything.
John, the link you sent does not work.
That's, I think, my
Oh,
first time fighting properly.
Why didn't that work? Oh, I know why. Never mind. Hold on a second.
Alfred wrapped me into not wanting to be anywhere near his sword with my leg. I just wanted to get hit in the head.
That work? Yeah, that should work.
You also,
Here we go.
John, Slav, have you all seen this? This is in my backyard.
Oh yeah.
Some of these.
Are some of these where the battle barn is now?
Yeah, basically. So I can find one that's
And some of these are from the park down the street, right?
yep, from the park. And then there's a couple of Orp ones. Man. Three years ago. When did I post this?
Oh wow, yeah. I
This
used
was-
to use that heater.
I tried a heater for like 2 months, and I was like, "This sucks. I want a center grip."
I don't like this.
Well, it wasn't even strapped very well,
it was
right?
strapped terribly. Do you remember that, John? Did you ever pick it up? That one?
I never picked it up because I think I never saw it in person, but I remember watching a lot of video of you fighting with it.
Mhm.
But I remember it looking real wonky.
That flat snap Molinet was one of the first things that Randall taught via Discord, and so that has stuck with me for a long time. Long time relative to my armored career, I suppose.
This is like very nostalgic watching these old videos because I remember we did this a lot during the pandemic.
You know, this is all pandemic. Just very like isolated small groups of people
Yeah.
getting together and fighting. It's basically me,
Be
Alfred,
isolated, and
Torres.
then we feel like we'd get on Discord a lot and watch a lot of these videos
Yep.
together.
That's when you and I were
Wasn't
very
John and
hype
I would-
about learning. We were like, "Oh, this
Yeah.
sucks. We can only like learn online."
Yeah.
Here and here in the chat,
Mhm.
Boomy, John put the Gulf Wars 2017 where he and I fought
And Rapier.
Is that y'all's
in
first fight?
Rapier. This was
Sorry,
the
for- this
first
is
time
the
we
first time-
fought,
First time I met Slav, actually. It was
Oh,
this right
cool.
here.
but
Let's
we
watch it.
didn't.
I'm into it.
I don't think we even conversed outside of this fight at this Gulf because this
Really?
this is my so this would be 2 years into me fighting. I got my scarf right before this Gulf Wars, and this was the first Rose tourney I was in. Because I don't think we talked, or I met Joe, like I met Leandra, I think, but you and I did not hang
No, we-
out. I think it was the
other
next one we
than-
did.
The
David?
next one we hung out a good amount.
Maybe
this one-
this was
this
like
one we
under the
just-
tent.
Yeah, this year we just were like good fight.
To be
kind of.
fair,
Yeah, like that
John's
kind of
not
thing,
particularly
and then
friendly on
in the
offset.
area. Well, remember you'll see. You can see John do the I didn't like that little John thing he does at one point.
Because we double, I think is what happens, right?
Yeah, and you don't like that. The toe.
Classic.
That is, yeah.
Oh, that was one thing. Oh my god, I had my foot so far fucking out all the time back
So,
then.
you see this doublet I'm wearing in this? I just gave this doublet to Marie because it does not fit me anymore.
It is like literally like the buttons are like 2 to like what 3 inches when you go to close it, like
Yeah.
space.
Just too fat now for it. That's the double, yeah.
Oh.
Because yeah, there we double. And then John does a John.
I want to watch that foot shot again.
First foot shot.
Yeah, how the setup worked.
Because look how far my front foot is out.
I don't think the stance is egregious. Particularly
No,
egregious.
it's enough where it's like it's enough where it's that where John goes, I want that foot. and that it was because look at my weight. Also, it's that I
Yeah.
think right now is I'm too front at this point, so I
Yup.
can't like lift it and get out easy, and I just don't really respond to that, to it happening.
I
This
think
this
it's
is very
funny
common reaction.
that that John is so ready for your sword to do anything, and watch his
Yes, and
dagger
it does
trigger
nothing.
off into space. You, in theory, could have
If you
just
threw-
reached your hand out and killed him.
Yes.
You just touched me in the face right
Yeah.
now because I was expecting you to throw back earlier than you didn't even do.
His dagger.
Just the
What? It's just going all over the place. No.
because there it is, the cover of the head. I'm just
The funny thing is, so few people throw back here though.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
it's
yeah. Well, you do a
like
small
almost
pump
no one.
right before you actually launch
yeah.
to freeze people.
Well, it's also, and then so at this point, no one Meridius really throws like the toe. Like they'll throw like knee or something here and there, but no one really throws that like the deep
All the way
like
to toe.
toe shot,
Yeah,
right?
I agree.
But then at this point now, if John does that, it's either I can at least see it about to happen and then pull the foot, or do the or basically like cut parry low into the thing.
This is our.
Gumi's developed a pretty good defense of it of just sword pairing it with the low guard.
This is such nostalgic Adult Swim that year.
Yeah. I kind of miss I like them all, but I kind of miss the Shoe Factory.
I like the Shoe Factory. It's got nostalgia for me.
Yeah, same.
Is throwing to the toe considered unchivalrous in some kingdoms?
Yeah.
No, not that I'm aware of. I can't.
It's-
I can't.
I
say
have
that.
I've never run across that attitude.
I haven't
People
been
get
to all
it's
kingdoms.
people definitely get frustrated by it, but
Oh yeah, people will get like, ah, darn. Yeah, people will get frustrated.
that's why
But
it's such a satisfying shot to throw.
yes,
It's like
John's good at it
that.
because he's so small, so it's not that far down.
That's 100% true.
No,
Oh,
it's true.
Sav, have you
CT
seen
melees
this?
we
This
did.
is the cut and thrust melee with 360 engagement.
Ooh.
That we did this as like an experiment in Elsewhere for.
This was fun. Chat, if
This
you
was
haven't done
banned,
this, cut and thrust melee is very fun because our weapons are made to thrust and cut on the rapier side. And more than that, this is like a 5-on-5 cut and thrust is a lot more like realistic to the weapon in the period, where it's like basically gangs having a fight
Yeah.
in the streets. So all you really need are like more alleyways and then like, some more structures in the way.
Say we are because we when CNT melee became legal, we weren't part of the experience. We had no practice at it, right? So then we did it as like a separate auth, and no one's done it, and I'm about to start rolling it out at this point. But being
Yeah, we need
very
We need
careful at who just gets put in and not just
We
go
need to-
anybody go.
we need to do it more in On-Sewer again because we were doing it when it was an experiment. Once the
Ooh.
experiment got approved, kind of no one does it anymore.
It was fun. I love this. This still stuck out with me as like
That
a good
Miles
day.
with a strap shield.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the heater.
Does he
Yeah, a
have
couple people brought out like their heavy stuff, heavy shields and
Does he
stuff,
have a
just to kind of we were just
strap?
kind of playing
Yeah, does he
around.
have a strap heater and a rapier? Is what he has.
Look at
He
that
might or a
chunker
bass.
of a cut and thrust sword. I'm still using my nonsense.
It's not his shield.
Oh, he's got a
that's
basket, yeah.
That's Orlando's shield.
Oh, Miles so gently got bonked on the head. Did you see that? Go back a little bit. So watch Miles. And then it's right as he backs
Oh,
up.
that's so nice. There's a tap,
bonk.
tap, tap. Yeah.
Just tap.
Tap, tap, tap. Let you know. I could have killed you way harder. That to me is like that's respect on both parties, where you
Yeah.
understand they were behind you and you understand that they could have just blasted you if they wanted to.
We need to next band maybe I need to run some CNT melees as a part of
Oh
the
my
event.
god, I would love that so much.
It's
Oh,
fun.
yeah. Incentive to
Can
get
we
people
just
to come
do it
out.
at Gulf War? Are we allowed to? Or do we
Yeah,
have
It's
to
yeah.
run a
legal
schedule?
everywhere
It's
now.
legal,
Yes,
yeah.
it's
You
just
go-
standard. Yeah. I mean, I think it's too late to get in on the thing. I mean, theoretically, we could have our own just doing it as a throw together as a group.
For
even.
funsies, yeah.
Yeah. Because it's too late to get a tournament on, but we could just do it. There's enough of us. Oh, there he goes, John.
Yeah.
Did you die in the process? Or just
I think
keep
I
running?
did.
I think I killed him on the way. I'm not 100% certain.
I
about
was
that.
so
so Boomy was
fast.
using his rapier and I was using like a 36 or something inch.
you don't
Just
show
run
back up
off
on screen.
Keep going. Yeah.
So-
Just leave.
Yeah, he was like, nope, I'm out. Goodbye. That's funny.
Zoop.
Zoom.
That was,
Yeah.
and I'm looking for one of these because I remember John just clocks me in the back of the head, not in a mean way,
Oh,
but in a like I
it's a
wasn't.
friend way.
You can still submit for non-war points for Gulf Wars. Oh, okay.
Oh, there's still time. Hmm.
John, did we want to run? Hell yeah! Thank you for that prime. Chat, drop them primes if you got
Thanks,
them.
John.
It's a free Bezos bucks. John, did you still want to run a spear tourney at golf?
Yeah, I'm down to do that if you want to.
Just say just spear.
Just a heavy spear, right?
Yeah, heavy spear duel.
Oh, heavy spear. Oh yeah, freaking shit.
Well, we
man.
could do a simultaneously rapier heavy spear
That'd
tournament,
be cool.
like
Spear duel.
and just do two tournaments at the same time and run both
Side
of them.
by side.
You probably know enough people to help with that.
Do we need?
I mean, you just need 2 marshals. You can do it with 1 list even.
Do we need? Other than getting a slot, do we need to like look at what it's opposite and try to not? I assume we want to try.
Yeah,
to
it's
not
probably
be-
limited time. We probably have. I guess it might be hard to do something if it's rapier and heavy to have it be opposite no war point. 'Cause
Yeah,
you probably
yeah.
have to do it like
Oh yeah,
if it's
because
a
a
heavy
lot
thing, it
of
might be
those
opposite
are.
a rapier war point. That'd be the only problem is if we do, since we usually fight all the war points.
Yeah, exactly.
Finding a free time. Though there is a day
Yeah,
without war
'cause-
points this year, right?
Yeah.
Wednesday? Isn't there like
I had
a rest day, kind of like they do at Pennsic now?
I have the schedule that was a tentative one.
Is Marie in chat?
Yeah, Marie's in chat.
She is.
Can you
didn't
can
Marie
you
have
submit
a
that for
schedule?
us, Marie?
Oh no! Submit another tournament.
Yes, Wednesday. No, god damn it. I get no respect these days, guys.
Cadets these days. No, you're saying.
Are
the
any of
right
my
thing.
other cadets in chat? I'm not asking you to run, I'm just asking you to submit it for me so I can run it.
Let's see. Okay. Yeah. I have the Gulf Wars schedule.
Hell
as
yeah,
of
thank you for the prime.
September.
I appreciate it. Chat, this is Fern and myself. What year is this? 2016. So this is
2016. Yeah. This was when I was visiting for that road trip. Me and Mike were on.
yep. Story
It
time.
was awesome.
This was when this is Fern, who's also an Atlantean mod. And him and I are fighting in the backyard. This is the first time that I had fought, really kind of interacted with John and Rowan a bunch, and they filmed everything. And that was the first time I like thought about filming and watching myself to improve. Because when we filmed it, they were like, "Hey, you always put your feet together when someone tries to attack your feet, and that's why we're killing you." And that really put a huge light bulb above my head and made me a much better fighter from that point, just from video review, which is what we're still doing now,
Yes.
almost 10 years.
I guess
later.
because I guess this day is what led to us being here online right now.
Yeah, very much
Really.
so. Were you all down for just visiting? What was the event? If there was an event?
It was Mike and I did like a little road trip where we drove and visited Atlantia. And,
before the pre-Pensic road trip.
yeah, it was a pre-Pennsic
Yeah.
road trip. We kind of took a couple extra weeks before Pennsic.
Yeah,
and we
y'all
went
came
up
to
and
visit
saw-
us. You lost your bumper at the
saw-
park.
Yeah, we lost our bumper at a
Visited
park.
Dom. There's a Dom footage somewhere.
Yeah. We saw Dom. Yeah, there is. Yeah, just a little bit of like a little walkabout, I guess, and fence with a lot of people. So we were staying at Alessandro and Angeline's house, and we were just in their backyard. We had a big fighter practice that day.
Yeah. That was
And I think I'd met Boomy at the Gulf Wars previously, but this was the time where I was like, my whole goal for this trip was to film a lot of the fights I was going to do, and so we filmed it on. Boomy was very enthusiastic about it once we started the process.
Yeah.
So
I got into it. Why am I wearing cut and toss gloves? Any advice on what to look for when viewing footage and how to apply it to learning? Oh, absolutely. If I were to judge 9 years ago me right now, I would be looking for very specific things I want to improve. So I would go into this practice set with intention. Like I'm going to improve X. And then I would watch the footage back to see if I indeed did that or if I did something else. And when you watch, I tend to watch a set multiple times, looking for different things, like watching my feet or watching my hands, watching overall body position or relative to the opponent, and then just get really judgy about myself. I imagine Slav, you and John did the same thing or something similar. Being
Yeah.
judgy.
And lots of slow-mo bits
Yep, a lot of frame by frame.
going through.
yeah,
Okay, how is this actually moving?
So if it's something like, if let's say that practice you were filming a footage that was, you had a specific thing you were working on, then you might like look at that. If it's like, say it's a tournament fight, which is also, I feel like tournament fights are some of the best to film because that's like really indicative of like where your fight is at that level. Like you're not working on anything in tournament, you're trying to give your best performance. And so that's a good one to film. That way you can kind of have like a really good assessment, and then you can spend time between tournaments working on whatever you're trying to prove for that tournament. Um, I definitely always start ground up on stuff, so like balance and footwork first, and then going kind of up from there. And you have to watch a couple of times to like look at footwork, and then general movement, and then blade work and stuff. And I'd say it's probably the same true for both heavy or rapier.
Yeah,
You're looking kind of
definitely
ground
for
up
sure.
first.
Look at me using blade mechanics to cover their blade.
Oh, and
Yeah.
chat from Ghostasm
Mhm.
has it like videos with a homie too. That's another good point. Is when you have someone like with you, it
Yeah.
also can help
Ideally, more
like watch
experienced
it.
than you in different ways.
Yeah, and it's because it's something where it's also where it's if then it's they can also notice things you may not notice kind of stuff.
Um, like I watched this back chat and I noticed my dagger hand just being way too far
We're gonna
back.
go back.
My dagger should have been extended. My dagger blade should have been about here, and stayed there as I bring my sword into play. And ideally, my dagger
Well,
would
actually,
cover low because my sword's pretty high.
I say because it does one of those where the dagger, because you can see it, it's not necessarily that it goes backwards as you go forwards without it.
Correct. I goes forwards with that exactly. So I
Yeah.
left it behind, and I should not have.
Do you have any more recent footage of you and Fern fighting that we could like do a one-to-one comparison?
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you do. I'm just
Probably.
be interesting.
I'm sure I can find it. Just do a back to back. There's
Yeah.
the. Did we find him at Penzik? From like a year
This
or two ago?
Penzik?
I didn't
No.
fight Fern. I didn't fight Fern this Penzik. I don't know if you
That's
did.
last. I think it was the
You have
last
more
Penzik.
opportunities to fight Fern than I do because you.
I don't even know that Fern was at this Penzik. Was he at this Penzik?
Was
I
he
don't
at Pen?
know.
I think you.
I don't
I
know.
think he was at Penzik. No, he was at Penzik. They all kind of blur together after
They
a
do
while.
blur together. That's the. Let's find out. Um,
That's a lot more recent.
yeah, that's the oldest.
That one, and then
and
the
significantly
the one
newer.
from the park. Yeah.
So this will be a 5-year difference.
Hmm.
This is when I'm starting to do the Torah stuff. Starting to
Yeah.
practice it. Yeah, that's a 1-to-1. Still sword dagger. It's the same people in a practice context.
A much sharper movement from both fighters, though. If
Yeah,
you can see.
crisp footwork.
Yeah, look at that. That's really stark, actually. That's interesting.
Hmm. You can see that actually like keeping the distance while retreating where you're
Well, and
staying.
the steps are just generally faster and sharper movement, right?
Yeah.
Like they were kind of both stepping in and out of range a little bit more
Yeah,
with a little
kind
more
of lazy, a
laissez-faire
little bit
attitude.
upright. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we're both probably like 2 to 3 inches lower with knee bend.
Yeah.
Like our hips are lower to the ground.
And the more confident movement, like we were talking about earlier
Yeah.
with me and Miguel.
There's 100% like a way someone moves that's like you can tell they're confident in
Mm.
a fight.
I don't
versus
even
hesitant.
think that you and Fern were like the worst fighters in that other footage. It was just a lot less refined.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I tried to do a hard capture there, inside line. Proud of it. I was practicing it. Some Torah stuff I've been.
Hmm.
That's the John, as it were.
Good job.
I don't know if John, you can claim a pump to face shot. I feel like most good fighters have one of those.
Yeah, no.
There's
There's
a little bit
there's
of,
no
little
real
bit of
like
tall privilege.
signature. Like there's everyone has a lot of the good fighters have all the same shots, kind of, right?
Yours is what are yours? Toe shot, dunk.
Signature. The toe and the dunk.
Yep, probably.
The
Probably
two tournament of the all right. I need to first if it's like 2 out of 3 or single pass, it's gonna be this.
So chat, as I'm watching this back, I noticed like I couldn't tell based on the background, the blades, and at speed what happened here. So I definitely would frame by frame. And so it looks like Fern is trying to dunk. Like he's trying to go into closer to 1, 2 in this case, like 2 with a bend inward, trying to get around my dagger blade. And only frame by frame can I like tell. Okay, so he did not connect with the thrust. As I parry upward, I imagine there's gonna be a tip drag somewhere here, or just to force the dagger hitting it. And then you can see the blade has
Yeah, you can see the blades there. Yeah.
popped out. Oh yeah, you can even see the hood right here. It has a little flick.
Yeah. I think if he had rolled and if he had put his hand in 1, he actually might have landed this. I think his hand, the angle he's getting is bad because of his wrist position.
Yes.
Oh, you think the 2? He should turn fully into
2.
1.
I think
2,
if he told,
he can't. Yeah.
I think if he was in 1, he'd get that tip lower. He might have given himself a couple extra inches of space, and he might have been able to get it.
Because
Okay.
full,
Not for sure. It's possible that you still would have gotten it covered, but it would have given it a better chance, I think.
yeah. Because full 1, you can get way more of the tip dropping down, and then the hand higher above your parry, as it's happening.
His committed action means I get to put my blade there, and he runs onto it.
That was a good parry and good post.
Post, yeah, I appreciate it. One of the things I'm a little bit judgy of Fern on in this set is that I feel like this last exchange was a very good example of he still has a habit of sometimes not attacking through my blade, but trying to go around a little too much.
Yeah.
So I don't like how his feet are moving here. This is he's committing the attack, but he's doing so with almost like a somewhat lateral fleshy kind of a movement. Like look at how his feet, and he's traveling almost horizontal at this point.
Yeah. Interesting. That is a little weird.
Which if you like slow it down, you're like, oh yeah, that looks right. Straight line,
I feel
sideways a little bit. Yeah.
I feel like this time was right as Fern was like having a big increase in his skill.
I agree.
Right? Like the next between this and now, he's gotten much better, and he's already much better in this video than he was in the last one. So, and he had a couple jumps up after right around this time, a few years after, like a year after this or so.
I learned that Fern and I basically started within a year of each other.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Had obviously different journeys, but
yeah.
It would be fun to take this video and the other one and just put them on top of each other to look. Maybe I'll make an edit like that. Yeah. Just put it like that and then just post it to his social and be like, hey, look at us. 6 years later.
How it started, how it's going, kind of.
Yep. Hey, chat, for those jumping in, we were looking at some of our older footage just to see what we looked like from back when. We gave a little bit of behind the scenes of when John and I were pelling in the garage.
You were pelling in the garage. I was pelling outside in the fucking heat.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Pelling in
Texas summer.
My garage. Yeah. You're right.
It was the early battle barn. Pre-battle barn.
The pre-battle barn. That's exactly it.
The battle shed.
Battle shed. Yeah. That's a cool. I like that. Like these two are roughly the same angle, same length, same human, same weapon sets. Just
that's fun.
5 years apart.
I like seeing the progression in that.
No, that's it. I wonder if there's more Fern. Is there more Fern footage of him versus you?
Me and Fern? I don't know. There is the
Was it Aaron from 2016?
There should be footage of you and me, like one of the first times we ever fought in that backyard practice too, right?
I assume so. You know what would be fun is to see like early Torah. All right. I wonder if that exists.
That would be interesting.
I think Tora started with a strip fencing background.
I think he did foil in high school.
I'm sure there's a lot of like you and I can probably track year over year and make a progression video pretty easily, honestly.
There's so much footage
There's
of us
so
fighting
much
online.
footage of us fighting.
There's us fighting armored. Yeah, go up.
Yeah.
Go back up. Oh, sorry. Whoops. I'm watching this.
You looking at this? This is
Isn't
the
it?
one
Yeah,
you're looking
that's
for.
the first.
Yeah.
That's like the
Okay.
second time we ever fight, I think.
Yeah.
Is this one.
Watch this. This is one I'm pretty sure you destroy my feet, and I don't know how to deal with it.
I think I get you foot and I get stuttered ahead.
Yep. Yeah, you see how I pull
Oh.
my feet together? Chat. This is exactly what we talked about that day. We watched this footage later in the day, so many years ago, and John was like, "Hey, when I attack your feet, you pull your feet together." As shown right there by my already dislike. Yep, right there. You see how my feet come together, and I'm vulnerable here if he follows up. Vulnerable in the sense that he can follow up to my body and I can't retreat.
Yeah, Boomy had that issue for like this practice. We talked about it, and then he like pretty quickly fixed it.
I became the the replacement step guy, and then did that to an extreme with with that champs fight with Donovan.
True. Yeah, yeah. And then you
I made fun
have
of
gone away
myself
from that. You still do it a little bit.
a little bit, not nearly as bad. It's funny how
appropriate
that like,
amount, I think.
pendulums.
Appropriate amount.
Slav, from your point of view, how similar do you think we are to now? Like, if you had to give a percentage of our current
God,
fight.
percent. Why?
Yeah. Like, is John like 90% of his current fight? Is he 80% of his current fight as how he moves here in this video? And then for myself, same question.
How old? Say, 'cause how long ago was this one?
2016.
Yeah.
2016.
2016. As a
It's kind of crazy that 2016 was so long ago.
I feel like Boom. I feel like you have significantly more changes compared to John, especially on these, from 2016 type thing, right?
Definitely, I agree.
I was 9 years into fencing at this point in 2016.
Yeah, I would have been
And
4.
Boomy, you were 4. Yeah, so that's
roughly.
that makes sense why there'd be more change.
Yeah, because John's is like a large of like fundamentally, right? It's like pretty much the same like mechanic, like sort of like the same idea and style and such, but it's just a different refinement to a degree, right? If that makes sense. Like there's a lot of bits that are tighter and kind of things, but then there's a lot of the same ideas in there. But then because even the footwork is stuff where that's like it's things like okay, like the footwork is like faster, quicker, like tighter, things like that, right?
Yeah.
But then Boomy yours has like where it's like not like a fundamental change, but like just stuff like the sword, like how high sword
Yes.
arm is, right? Like just that is like a huge difference, right?
The single
compared to now.
trigger is also a big difference to me.
Mm-hmm.
Single trigger loose as opposed to two finger trigger tight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because like that, like just the sword arm is a huge thing, and then like the footwork's not, again, yeah, the footwork is not super different, but it's definitely that like there's a lot of things that are tightened significantly, right?
Yeah. Economy of motion and all that.
Because it's stuff like where instead of having like for the foot shot, where it's like instead of having like okay, I just got to have like a little, then it's like oh, I got to actually like do the more of the quick stutter, right?
Yep.
Because I think that's like less of a I just like okay, I have to just tweak this, but more like okay, I have to do this different. Because see, like right there, right, like the response is just kind of walk backwards, right? Because John came up short, where if he had reached a little bit more, he would have just hit it, right? And the response is just go backwards. Whereas now it would have you would have more of that like stutter backwards and also have a reply at the same time, right?
Yeah. My hands pair with my legs a lot better nowadays.
Yeah.
I agree. It's weird. You just keep putting me in the corner and killing me.
Yeah.
That's the yeah. I think that's. I wonder. See, I don't know if that's just
This was
you
this was
or
like the brief period where I feel like I was significantly better than Boomy.
you're like pressing him
Mm-hmm.
so much tighter, right?
You're shoving me in the
Because I think
corner.
that's yeah. Like I think that's a big one is that you're not keeping the distance nearly the same as you do now, right?
Right, right. I
Because
think
like right
smaller
now, trying
strokes.
to like get you chase like even in a small field, trying to chase you down is a pain in the ass. Like trying to catch you
Yeah.
effectively.
Yeah, I agree.
One of the biggest differences, um, I think, like watching myself, is the confidence in pairing my mechanics with my footwork, which allows me to now press very effectively. Like nowadays, I don't get pushed nearly as much because I'm willing to press just as hard.
Hmm.
Like now,
Yeah,
you
Yeah,
that's a really good
yeah,
point.
give a
yeah,
little room and
yeah.
then
Because
take it back.
right now when John goes, you're just sort of letting it happen,
Yeah,
and so
and I
he can
take
just
none of the
keep
room back.
pressuring.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Because there's so many dagger kills that John just
Yep.
doesn't get against you, and even then doesn't normally get because he's just shoving you into the
Oh,
corner,
got
and you're just
trounced.
collapsing into it.
Trounced by Baby John. Not Baby John. Young John.
Mid John,
Yeah.
teenage John.
I think I was 23
Yeah.
at this point.
Now we're
22,
old.
23. Old,
Old. What
ancient,
happened?
venerable.
Venerable's been much.
Venerable is a nice way to put it. Or an underhanded insult. Either way. Chat. That was cool. Thank you for coming along for the ride and watching some of our old footage. I'll start posting more of these streams. I'm recording them and going to post them up on the YouTube channel if you miss it or want to rewatch any of it. Because the streams, I think, stay up on Twitch for only a week. And will not change until some sort of like Twitch partnership happens. So, going to record them and put them up there. So keep an eye out there if you want to watch it in full. John and Slav, any last words?
It was a good time. I think it was fun to see the progression.
Mm-hmm.
We should do something kind of like this maybe again sometime. But
I would like to
I
do
think
this with more people's footage because I know my own
yeah,
footage, but
yeah,
just
so if you
actively badger people to give you
I
footage.
think I have
yeah, so
to.
if you have chat or if you have footage or you know other people who might have old footage of like early on in their fencing career and then they have and you can compare and we can
Mm-hmm.
compare and contrast. Yeah, maybe like send that to us and we can maybe do something like this again.
Yeah, I might go
Pre
badger some people and be like, hey, people who've been fighting for a long time, I want to see your old footage. What you got?
Yeah,
I think one thing overall that is good to think about, and especially for newer fencers to think about, is that like everybody at some point was basically baby fencer, right? Or
hmm
baby fighter in general, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, where especially looking at a lot of the people that are seen as the high level fighters now and go, oh hey, look, they also did this like, oh hey, they also did this one bad habit type thing, right? At one point, or just things like that. So it's good to see that other people that are sort of the like this is the top level. They also had a point where it was like, oh, they were getting punked by this like shot that
Just getting
no one
wrecked.
should get hit by, or they were doing this really dumb thing.
You know,
you know?
it is good to know that we all start from bad
Because
yep.
and we all kind of climb away
very yeah,
from
because
that.
it's
And that's it.
because it's
We
very
all
much that
sucked.
anybody can get. Exactly, yeah. Basically, everybody at one point was just standing there, not moving, and got hit in the face.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
every
boy.
single person.
You got footage from your third practice? You just yeah. Keep that footage. I think having a camera in your pocket at all times via your phone is such a good thing to have, because it makes it very convenient to just film everything and just have it for your own edification in the future. You can look back and like, oh, I improved this, I improved that, and do it step by step. Make it
Buy a cheap tripod off of
systematic.
Amazon.
Exactly. Yeah.
Or ask a
Honestly.
friend to film, whatever. Lean it against a
Just
tree.
Then it gets to
yeah,
yeah,
anything.
film it. There,
I think
Amazon sells little
mhm.
face trackers for super cheap, like
I
15
think
bucks.
um I think I think one of the things that actually made one of the biggest differences in the last like few years even was videoing so much of fighting. Then because then being able to look at it and go, okay, here's all the stuff that was going on, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Frame by frame, what you need to.
And not just trying to remember.
Let's see. We'll bounce some ideas for the next one. I got some. I keep all my old. Yeah, that stuff is awesome. 2010, exactly. I think that's cool. Keep it on a private YouTube list, and you can go back and look at it for yourself, kind of whenever. Once in a while.
Thing, put it on YouTube and keep it unlisted.
Yeah.
If you don't want people to, if you're,
Or you can send it to us, and we'll let the whole internet.
And we'll put it out on the stream. Either one is fine.
Yeah.
But I would love to see. So I might poke some of the long time players, like maybe do an armored focused one, and see if Sven or maybe Rags, just people who've been playing for 30 years.
Sven definitely has footage of him doing heavy fighting from pretty early on. He'd already had all his Amtgard.
I want to kind of see Sven in Amtgard. I saw one video of him in Amtgard. It was cool.
There's some stuff we can. Yeah, that'd be one good one.
I might poke around on YouTube and message a few people. I think it'd be cool. Yeah, Ashton's been playing for like 20 years or something like that. Mm-hmm. Stuff like that would be cool. Just learning what people did when they were young.
There's a crown in Onsura from 1993 that I'm actually friends with the guy who won that. I could maybe ask him to. We could maybe watch that footage and he'd come on and talk about it.
That'd be cool. Is that on YouTube already?
It's already on YouTube, yeah.
John, that was because John and I remember we were during pandemic staying up to like 5 a.m. just looking for anything SCA on YouTube.
Yeah.
Because at one point we found a handful of ancient like crown lists from here and there from a few places. They were just wild to see.
Oh yeah, I just searched Onsura Crown 1993
finals. Hein, oh my god.
Yeah, and the guy who Duke Keen won that, like he's local to me and I know him. I could actually ask him about maybe he may be willing to come on and talk about it. It'd be interesting.
Early odds. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
I would love to watch
the heavy, especially when you can see it where it's like, hey, this person is still fighting, in some cases literally 30 years later.
Yeah. This is cool. Back when we all had VHSs and filming was expensive and film was literally film.
Duke Inman was like the guy in Onsura for a long time. He was the
big squares.
Yeah.
Onsura and big squares. Big rectangles.
Onsura and high style, yeah. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Big rectangle, sword up.
Lots and offsides.
Uh-huh. I've never seen Felix Umbel. Felix doesn't have much footage of him, which is sad. I've talked to him about it.
I found some. Not much, though.
There's some Felix out there, but it's not a lot. What? Is this a martial arm? What's happening?
There's some fighter on the sidelines. His elbow.
Bruh.
One fun thing about, and less in the fighting sense, but more in SCA generalism, of seeing seeing footage of people that are now really big deal in various ways, is seeing something like how their garb was when they were early on.
Yeah.
In a few things of being like, oh hey, they also looked like kind of junky at one point, or like sort of hodgepodge, etc.
Yeah. Like every other pursuit, it's just a little bits of improvement over time, over a long period of time. Generally how that goes. Man, those offsides are so different than how they're thrown nowadays. That J-hook got that leg. Oh, good wrap. A little hoppy wrap.
Somebody jumps to go over top of the high guard.
I still do that, and people tell me not to jump. I'm like, I can't help it.
It's fine. If people say it's fine.
Kills a kill.
Kills a kill. You got them to take it. All right, chat. Thanks for hanging out. We will see you all in the next one. Take care.
Good night, chat.
Have a good night.
Thanks, everybody.
Goodbye.